Yes, people. Another episode of Blocks to Bags. I'm your boy Beej.
I'm your boy Seb.
And this week we've got another episode coming to you out of London. We're taking things a bit different. We've got 3 awesome entrepreneurs with us this week. We're starting a new series. We haven't titled it. We'll title it later. I'm looking at it as a real way to connect with you guys, a real way to give real value. What better way to give real value than to talk to real entrepreneurs? Boys, introduce yourselves.
Yeah. My name's Nelson Adama. I'm a musician, and the business I run is like a community-driven music platform and like artist development program that we're trying to get off the ground and just, release music and put on events for all kinds of musicians and help artists develop.
Sick. And you've just released a tape today.
Yeah, exactly. Yesterday. Last night we put out a little EP that it's been in the works since like December, I think, like last year. First had a studio session. There's been like a lot of false starts, but it's so good to like finally have it out in the world and have people listening, and like the feedback's been just like amazing. I'm feeling the love a lot these past couple of days.
Sick. There's some music I'm going to play for the guys listening so they can hear how you sound. Playing.
For context, we can't hear it. Like, proving we're not just protesting the music. It's really good.
I would love a little acapella. If you got it, just a little.
You guys are speaking over the music.
Them can't pull the wool over. Every postcode, my man, them a good over. Rappers act like they're generals when they're foot soldiers. Every verse, every syllable needs a look over or a do-over.
Thank you, MC Nelson. What a great intro. We got your tape. If anyone wants to go check that out, Black Borough on Spotify. It's out now. Next to my left, to my right.
Yeah. Hi guys. My name's Tamari Johnson. I run an arts platform called Periginal. It's basically, we do at the moment web series on YouTube. One of my first programs called Because of Music, and it entails having artists come onto the channel, mixing within having interview, music video, and photography all in the one episode. And I've done 25 episodes so far and an event. So I do online and offline within my business, and just looking to expand, and that's why I'm on this show.
Come on. Next up, Alex.
Cool. Hi. Yeah. Both great companies, by the way. I'm Alex Rose is my name. I release music under Every Rose, and I run a music business platform called Starground, which is like 3-pronged. So we do live events where we mix live and dance music. So there's no separation really between the like live bands or musicians and DJs. Then we also run a recording studio with like production and then output. So we're like a label as well, and also have our own podcast called Hyper Theory Podcast. Thanks for having me by.
Thanks for pulling up, man. Thanks guys for pulling up. So look, at Blocks of Bags, like the vision that me and Seb have is one where we are not just like interviewing people who've made it, but we're like building with people who are coming up right now. People are doing things that are impacting culture. Maybe it's not guaranteed, but they're bringing innovations to the market. For me, like I think part of my vision with Blocks of Bags is to have brunches, have competitions, have our own fund, and to invest in entrepreneurs. With the 3 of you, you've been on a program with me for the last couple of weeks. It's been with the Roundhouse self-made series. Like we didn't have pitch decks when we started, right, guys? And now you've all got presentations, you've all got your packs ready.
I didn't know what decks meant for a while. You'd say it, and I was like, I nodded, and then it like clicked into place what you're actually talking about. So yeah. How's
the Accelerator been for you guys? What's been some highlights for you guys the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, for me, like I found it like so amazing because I don't think I'm like naturally like business minded in that way. Like, I just care about bars, to be honest. Like, I just want to get bars off. That's about it. And then, like, everything else around that is not like surplus to requirement, but it's just like necessary for the bars.
Yeah.
So I've kind of always had a hard time, like, with the like entrepreneurial, like, business side of it. But like, yeah, just like even seeing myself and like as an entrepreneur, like I probably would introduce myself as like musician and entrepreneur now, like after the program, which I probably wouldn't have done before. So I definitely think it's definitely had like a massive effect on me, and I just hope the energy can like continue beyond, the end of the program, to be honest.
Sick. How about for you, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, to what you say there, I think not even surplus, but often like it can feel like as an artist, you know, like musician, whatever, it can feel like business is almost against the art, or like sacrificing it or making it worse, or like all these profit run venues or profit run labels or whatever killing the soul of art, which I care about. So like it's interesting to think about business options as a way of amplifying your art and artistry rather than negating it, and rather than just ignoring business approaches, tackling them sort of head on. So yeah, that's definitely been what we've been doing in the program.
That's good, and I think there's a really interesting thread that you're actually tapping on there, which is all about the business of art and the art of business, and how so when I was working at a creative agency, there was a guy on my team called Alex as well, who I was managing, and he went and studied music and business at university, and he was doing a lot of our videos and music creation for the company, right? And we'd always chat about business. He was interested in music, artists. At that time, I was interested in like venture capital of the VC world, and what kind of occurred to me was that music labels are actually like VCs as well, where they'll make a bet on 10 people. They don't care if 9 of them don't make it. They're looking for that one Ed Sheeran or that one Adele. And like, because of that, a lot of artists don't get the marketing promotion or the push that they kind of deserve. And I'm like, that's weird, because it's kind of like the same in the kind of business VC world, where a venture capital fund will invest in like 10 different companies and will kind of only push the one that's really going to like blow up, and like essentially leave the other guys in the mud. And I'm like, this kind of needs to change in the world of VC, in the world of business, and the world of art. I think it's a human. I think it crosses over between the two worlds, and like that made me think like it's all about supporting independent entrepreneurs, independent artists, creators, and like giving them the blueprint for how to do the kind of come up, rather than like relying on like big music labels and industry execs and that kind of thing. Yeah. So like I'm glad that we're all here today having that kind of conversation, and I hope that we can bridge the two worlds together, because they're quite similar in a lot of ways, and I think people sort of fail to understand that. But coming into the accelerator, chatting to you guys, just like reinforce that to me, and like that's a message that we like to push out, where it's like creators are entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs are kind of creators right now. So
yeah, I mean, I know like a bunch of people who've been like dropped from major labels. Like I'm not gonna shout out
no names
or the artists, but like some pretty like major labels that have not treated them very fairly. And like these are some friends of mine who are like really great musicians, and I even have like a lot of buzz, and yet have been dropped. And yeah, I don't know if you're entirely focused on like profit margins and buzz and that kind of thing, then like whether you're looking at it from the creative angle or the business angle, surely you're going to end up with bad businesses and bad like artists. Like the best, most innovative artists or businesses, whatever sphere you're looking at, aren't always going to be the ones that are at least immediately the most profitable or the most buzzy. Like you're not going to build a huge amount of buzz if you say are able to like cure pancreatic cancer with some new biotech, but that actually might be the best business, like, but it might not pop off at TechCrunch, you know, or something thing like that. Or like an incredible musician who doesn't quite have 50 billion streams or whatever, but is like actually breaking ground, might be dropped by a label, but in the long run would have way more longevity and like influence than any of these people. So yeah, I think that's one of the thing I want you asked us to sort of prepare questions, and mine is sort of like, without getting too into like capitalism versus socialism or whatever, like how does like value like manifest and compete with profit in a business orientated way of looking at creativity?
How does value
compete with profit?
Compete with profit.
Way of looking at it.
I mean, in a business way of looking at it, ultimately, in my humble opinion, like the more value you're bringing, the more profit you can charge. They're very interlinked, and sometimes the creation of value may come at a loss, but that loss in other term sheets is actually seen as investment. So in order for me to build a studio I'm sitting in right now, for example, I'm going to need to make value, like, put drinks there for the guests, put props around the room, make a Bluetooth identified soundboard, make my guests comfy, have a waiting room, have an area where people can leave their bags. Like, that's upfront investment of thousands of pounds before any profit's been yielded. And they're able to charge a bit more of a premium because they've set it up this way, the studio manufacturer, the studio company. A lot of times when I was coming up, I always used to think about the profit, making the money, the cash flow. And you're thinking of that because obviously you're thinking to try to survive. So also there's context, value for me equals profit when all of the basics are covered. But when there's like some significant things that are not covered, then actually value may come at the cost of profit to build up a business long term. But then in other situations, profit may come ahead of value because you need cash flow to move and survive, and you need cash flow that you don't need to pay away right now. And when you got cash flow that's just generated money, that's not always profit, So that is for me the divide between the two. How you see it, Seb?
I think it is a delicate balance, and this is a question that I ask myself all the time. I think ultimately, I don't know, a simple way to think about it could be just a really simplistic way is like, some people might say this is the wrong way, but it's about like greed. How greedy do I want to be, and what's enough for me? And like setting those goals and milestones early on enough in your journey, and kind of you got to kind of believe in yourself and think that you're going to take it all the way there to be able to set those milestones and be like, okay, cool, I'm happy at this stage, and I'm going to invest more into the business, into the creativity, rather than reap more profits. Mm-hmm. But I think it's down to you and what you're kind of comfortable with in yourself. So one thing for me that I'm always pushing is like being lean and being agile. If you're lean and you're agile and you're able to move flexibly, you're able to do things in a non kind of rigid way, I think that helps in helping you be, I guess, profitable and kind of creative at the same time. So I think it's a delicate balance. But I'm not gonna lie, like creators, entrepreneurs, like we all need to eat.
Yeah, we all need to eat.
That's the aim of the game. For a lot of us, we haven't come from silver spoon backgrounds, right? For a lot of us, we're seeing the rapping thing, or building a studio, or trying to create like a label as a way not only to express ourselves, but as a way to come up and change our kind of lives. And it's the same thing with like entrepreneurs. And it's like, I guess it's about asking yourself the question of, what am I happy with? What am I willing to sacrifice? That kind of thing. Because early on in the beginning, a lot of the investment, it's going to be you and your time. And your like what we call like sweat equity, essentially. Which that's what they call it, right? When you're literally sweating for for that first sale, for that first mixtape, for that first EP, like, and you're trying to do it all on your kind of own. But yeah, so I think it's important for you to, at the beginning, ask yourself, where do I want to get to? What would I be happy with? Would I be happy in generating, if I was to generate 10 grand a month, 100 grand a month, 1 million a month? Like, where do you want to get to? And setting those kind of, if you don't want to sacrifice the sort of creativity or the quality, and you want to reinvest, because the way I see it, it's all about reinvestment. If you're not using the profits on yourself, then you're going to reinvest it. Like, the only other option is to reinvest it back into the business, or just, I guess, let it sit there, right? So it's up to you. And that brings me to a question, like, where do you see yourselves? Like, what's the kind of vision? What's the aim? Like, what's the dream?
The dream for my business, or just dream in life? Well, the dream for my business, I'd say, like, the way I see it down the line is, because like rapping is a bit of a young man's game, music, and I'm like inserted in that process. Like, I would eventually like to step back, still be involved, obviously, but like not necessarily be like leading on the music side of it. And I would like it to become like self-sustaining, so that it can continue without me. That, like, you know, some of the other lads involved are a bit younger than me, and so hopefully it's like I pass on to them, they pass, and you know, that's mainly the main aim. I want like musicians in Liverpool and in London to, you know, have those opportunities, and I just want to create a community that goes beyond like me.
You still are a young man though. I didn't ask you how old you are. I asked you what year you were.
What year I was born in,
you seem to enjoy it.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, rap. To be fair, I think what's weird about rap is that like it's only just turning 50. So to be fair, we haven't actually we didn't really see old rappers. Like seeing someone like Jay-Z or someone rapping at that age is kind of new, because the genre's quite young.
Really, truly, Nas, 4 albums in 2 years.
Exactly, and he's having like a second.
But Jamari, like, let's hear from you, man.
Yeah, I feel like just in relation to, you know, what you were saying, I'm kind of a creative, and I grew up, you know, just going to my local art school, and then I kind of developed there to go to secondary school, went to art specialist school. So for me, I just feel like it's more about continuing and pushing the levels of creativity, and trying to be, my dream has just always been to be kind of like a bridge between a creative company, but something that, you know, obviously is a business, and then also is able to do and have some effect in a charitable sense, but not as like a social, not as like a
social enterprise,
not a social enterprise, but just something that can help give back in a way. Only because I know that, you know, opportunities, you know, even to be on this Roundhouse and just meeting you guys and things like that, I know that these things wouldn't be possible if I wasn't able to see people that look like me and be able to be in those kind of, you know, that in that network and things like that. So I would always want to give back. But for me, in terms of what I want to do, I just want to push the realms of creativity. And, you know, I've seen companies like, massive companies like Disney, and, when they've been able to, you know, in like when they first did Toy Story and things like that, you know, they're amazing, you know, ways of pushing creativity. And then you see, you know, what people now do in terms of, you know, in fashion. And, you know, I just want to be able to push those realms of creativity and in arts, and just push it to what I can do really, and still be able to make the financial side, you know, stable and grow as a more profitable business, like how places like Disney do and those kind of companies do. That would be my dream, really.
Love that. And what questions do you have, like, when you're thinking about your business in 2023? You're just thinking about the next year, like, whilst we're all sat here. I know me and you have spoken a little bit about, you know, that model between content, merch, and then those kind of live events. As an entrepreneur right now, looking the next year, is there a question that you have, or a couple of questions that you have that we can maybe unpack right now?
Yeah, where do you start? Like, I would say, to be honest, it's about, which I've been learning from my other mentor, which has been really great on the Roundhouse, is, which he's been teaching me is, you know, we always have like a goal, and that goal is obviously that whole next year goal, and that's what we've been working on, which you guys have been teaching us about pitching for like the next year and things like that. So I guess my question would be, you know, how do we actualize those steps, even within, you know, what you were saying, in a lean way? Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like one thing that I would just input, you know, is it the networking? Should we like be more, you know, what should we put our time into more? Is it more like the networking, or is it more because then if you network a lot but you haven't got the, like, do you know what I mean? It's like you haven't got the content, or you haven't got all that kind of stuff. So what do you think we should be doing, as, you know, to kind of push what we're doing to that next step?
Okay. So I would say number one is you want to focus on what's in this early stage, in the earlier stages. You want to focus on something that's going to get you a return, not straight away, but relatively kind of soon, right? So if you think about your business and your model, what is like the one thing that will really help you sort of generate revenue, or generate what you need to generate to take it to the next step? Is it the merch side of things? Is it the video side of things? Is it the platform side of things? Like, when you're thinking about the next kind of step, like, what is the key thing that will help you get to that next stage? Or what do you need to do to unlock the kind of next stage? Do you need to have a certain amount of people in your network, or know certain execs or labels, or what it is? Or do you need like, I need 10 grand to actually achieve phase 2 of my business? Like, what is it, do you think, when you look at it, what do you think will help you get to that next stage? And usually it's stuff that you haven't done before.
Right.
So yeah, what new things are you basically looking to kind of try? Or yeah, what would be that one thing, would you say?
I would say
it's a hard question. It's a hard question. It's a very hard question. Like,
yeah, I would say mainly for me, because I've done, you know, at least I would say like a minimum viable product of what I'm trying to do. So I've already kind of completed that. I've kind of tested that. I think the next stage would be reinvesting and trying to develop it in more, you know, better quality.
Okay.
So then I can offer it to more artists where they're getting that value exchange, you know?
Okay. So it's offering so from what I'm hearing there, it's like being able to have a good enough product to go out and offer to more artists, right?
Yeah.
And why aren't you doing that right now? What makes you think you're not there yet? Or have you spoken to already artists and gotten that feedback? Because they're kind of like your target audience / customers, right? Like, do you have lists of artists that you want to sort of onboard onto your platform? Or like, what's it looking like in terms of artists?
Yeah, it's really good. Like, I get really good engagement in terms of like getting people. I have like a Google form where they say, you know, they want to get in touch and what their music is. So I've got the form of like, just let me know what your music is like and where you're from, and then, you know, we can do it. It's already, as long as you're in London at the moment. I just feel like at the moment it's just more to do with the like, I had to, obviously I'm just like hiring out better camera equipment, which obviously allows me to do better shots and better movement and things like that, which allows me to do better videos. And that's what I care about, because I feel like the quality, the only second thing is kind of quality control. So I kind of want to work with artists. So what's been quite good is the artists that I've been working with, it fits a quality control that people are entertained by that music. So right now I've been doing a lot of like R&B music, and it kind of fits. I feel like that's like the vibe that is going through at the moment. Not to say I wouldn't do other artists, because I would love to do other artists, but it's just like the reactions that I'm getting have been through a certain type of artist, which I want to now open up to more like the floodgates to different like rappers and you know, and move on to that. So I think it's the one thing is the quality main thing, which is like investment. So that's what I'm looking for. And then the second thing is like quality control, which is like just knowing which artists are gonna really, they don't have to be big time artists, but as long as their music is great, and then I can put them on my playlist, and you know, people are gonna really, you know, resonate with the music and stuff. Yeah.
Cool. So I was just getting like a couple ideas actually when you were saying that, and I think I actually used to kind of work with one of my boys' brothers who was in the kind of music marketing kind of world, and I think marketing for artists is like really important. Obviously, I'm a marketer, I'm going to be biased, but like, is there a way that you can also create a little mini accelerator or like a little mini plan for some of these artists to help them? Not only are they getting great content from being on your platform, collaborating with you, potentially to do merch and, you know, do shows and stuff, but can you help them get bigger and push their sort of brand out even more? Like, I would honestly even say marketing these artists and looking at putting some paid ad spend. I know when we were looking at your deck, you're like, you've generated good amount of views organically without ads and stuff like that. But if you were to start getting these videos to 10K, 20K, 30K, which you easily can with YouTube ads are really cheap to run. You can get so many views and target, like with the YouTube ads, you can basically target people that like this channel or like this. Like you can select all like the R&B channels or playlists that you think the people might vibe to your artist, and like target those people with the artist music on your kind of platform. And like, I think it's all about for me, the way I see it right now, it's all about attention, driving attention and exposure and awareness. And I think if you can figure out how to do that for up and coming artists, I think they would appreciate that a lot as well. Like, we're gonna do this thing, we're gonna create, but we're also gonna help you push, and maybe they contribute the budget to the ad. Like, you help them with this, maybe they contribute 50%, you contribute 50%, or that kind of thing. But
that makes
I
sense.
think you could do like really nice packages, man, for like £100, £200. Like, you could do bits with even just like £150 worth of YouTube ad spend. You can generate thousands of impressions, and you can get people to start not just following your channel and stuff like that, but maybe directing them to the merch or directing them to get the tickets and things like that. So I'll definitely say start maybe also thinking about how you can, I mean, I see you as an accelerator, really. Like, this is up and coming. Like, these are artists that a lot of the times you said some of them are not even like really established or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're mad creative and they got all of that, but like, can you come with the other? You're already doing all of the other parts, but I feel like if you can create some sort of like small package,
like materialize it.
Like a small package, and even put that into a deck.
Yeah.
Whenever people are reaching out to you, like they want to get in touch with you, like they want to be on your platform, you can just send them this deck and be like, hey, boom, listen, this is how we kind of work. We've got like a little package. If you want to go for like, you know, the £100 package or £200 package, not only would you get great content, but we're going to teach you how to market yourself. We're going to put some of this into ad spend, and we're going to push you. And I think that's also like a good step as well in qualifying some of the artists who are a bit more serious than the others and who really want to build with you, because you got to have skin in the game, right? That's one thing I think is important across business, music, art. It's actual skin in the game. We all know, like, when you give people stuff for free, they don't really like appreciate it that much, right? So yeah, thinking of adding another element to that where it's like a bit of a mini accelerator.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I'm definitely gonna take that. And
you even do like a little guide, a little video that you send to them as well, like mentoring, coaching, that kind of thing as well. I think could be good.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm gonna definitely take that as a mental note.
Yeah, I hate to think like this, but also I feel like your series would be so, like, you could, like, really, it would be a really good fit to get a sponsorship. Like, I can imagine like a logo at the start, like original presented by Red Bull or like something like that. And they'd so I like it because you've already done like their job for them. Like you've done a whole digital marketing division's job. Like you've made this really nice. So if they can just have their logo at the start and it looks all good, and So I feel like it'd be pretty easy for you to get some kind of sponsorship. And then you can put that money into better cameras, put that money into better recording equipment, and building the quality. And
no, definitely. And I feel like that's such a good idea, because I think what's so sick about your idea, and like the issue that a lot of channels have, is just like quality control. And like a lot of people just take anyone's money to make a music video, put it on the channel as long as they're getting paid. But if you're, you know what I mean, if you're curating it and you're selecting artists on the basis of quality, there's not as much money in that. So yeah, I think they're both like sick ideas for how you could, you know, just like make more without necessarily having to work with every Tom, Dick and Harry who, you know what I mean, wants to get their 16 bars off.
Great segue for you, Nelson. So obviously your EP just dropped yesterday. By the time this come out, it might be 1 or 2 weeks. People can obviously go and grab that Black Borough on EP. Don't know. Okay. But what are you guys thinking? So you just got a logo done. Like, what challenges are you going through at the moment, and how can we help?
Yeah, well, I think
talk to us about anything. Obviously, you just even from the sound, like you weren't born and raised in London. You're in London trying to make it now.
Yeah.
But obviously, you got them connects. Like, tell us challenges you're going through now, and let's unpack that.
To be honest, I think like the main challenge I feel as though I'm going through now is, like we talked about it a bit before. It's just about like I feel like it's just like the balance of life, having a creative practice, like having to work to survive, having, you know, this thing I'm doing outside, having, you know, a massive family that I've got to see that are dotted around. Having like, you know, I feel like that's my main challenge is just like the balance and like the scales of life and all the different aspects, because, you know, just the other ones have to suffer if I'm going to put more into music, which I like. The motivation from the program has given me. Like, I've already had to like speak to my girlfriend to be like, listen, the dates might go down a little bit for like, you know what I mean, for like the next 6 months, because like I really want to
go time. You know, it's go time.
So I guess that is the main thing. I mean, obviously, like we see the way you work. Like, you're so amazing at like being able to multitask and do like many different things at the same time. But I just feel like, my issue is just when I feel like I'm getting pulled in many directions, or I'm not able to give my full attention to like one thing. When I have like multiple things going and it feels like I'm not doing any of them as well as I could have, sort of thing. I feel like that's kind of one of the main hurdles I'm personally facing right now.
So how to navigate juggling the job, the misses, the work, the motivation, everything. I think for me, something that helps me at the moment is time blocking. You know, it's something that you will see on the internet, you will hear, but you can only get as far as you plan. And if you are just trying to do everything at the same time all the time, that won't work. So time blocking, and that could be as miniature as like, or as minute as like hour to hour time blocking, but it could be also as expensive as like day to day time blocking or week to week time blocking. So at the moment, I work on the charity I run on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then I work on my consultancy and training business on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Of course, naturally, these things flow through, but naturally, when me and my peer look at my week ahead or I look at the month, that's how I kind of plan stuff. For a while, I wasn't doing that, and I was just feeling stretched all the time. So even myself, you know, 10 plus years in the game, I still find ways to get myself in a loop where things feel like a lot, but I always come back to time blocking. Number two, the second thing I like to do, and you learn this from like something called OKRs, which is a practice that is taught in technology firms and a lot of different companies do sprints, where you set 3 to 5 objectives. Under your 3 to 5 objectives, every objective will have 3 to 5 key results that will enable you to get your objective. This objective is set over 3 months, so a quarter, and that should be set over like your goals for the year. You know, in the business, so I like to look at it as like I have a finance goal, a marketing goal, a product goal, some sort of development goal, and then the final one will change depending on the business. But we have goals, for the year. That feeds into the quarter, and me having these goals for the quarter then enables me to influence what is I actually need to do this month. What I need to do this month is influence what I need to do this week. What I'm doing this week influences what I do today. So again, some things might feel overwhelming because obviously when you're juggling, things will feel overwhelming. Or I just haven't done this. But when you look at it from that landscape and you get yourself out of being in the business, running around to landscape, look down, looking at your business, seeing opportunities, you can then find really interesting pockets of space to go, you know what? If I shift this activity or I shift these 2 deadlines, all of a sudden I give myself 2 weeks. But I can't shift this following deadline because this needs to happen now. Do you know what I'm saying? So OKRs or just stronger goal setting, I found to be a really good way to enable me to reduce my anxiety, give me clarity, and ultimately help me spot weaknesses. And then the final thing I've been doing is learning to say no. Like, there's a lot of things that I can do with my time. There's a lot of things I can do with my skills. But but saying no is so important, because I'm someone, especially with ADHD, where I just want to do a lot of stuff all the time. All the time. I'm always like that. Even when I take stuff off, just leave me to my device for 2 months, come back and ask me what I'm doing, and there's more stuff on there. Always. And then the final thing I'd add, 3 is meant to be special, but I'm going to do a 4th thing, is do not forget to add in rest and recovery, but not rest and recovery that's just sleeping. I'm talking about rest and recovery that is kind of inspiration, that is like therapeutic. So for me, that's going on hikes, bike rides, that's going on like multiple hangouts with friends and groups of people to go see some art in museums, things that just inspires the mind. And it doesn't have to be 3 days in a row of doing that. It's just a regular, consistent thing that keeps that dopamine of like you being inspired and you having clarity of just like fresh air. I find that works for a lot of me and a lot of people in my circle. And oftentimes when you do burn out or you do feel overwhelmed, it's because you've not actually done anything else but work. And I like to remind people like, and it's a very important message for entrepreneurs, like your business is not your identity. Your business is not your identity. Like you are an individual who's on a journey. I've been involved in 10 different businesses and counting. 1 or 2 of them are probably stuck as brand names that people know me for, like Super Network, for example, or Philly Studios. There's a couple of things that people know me for now with Student View, but you are not your business. Your business is what it is by itself. So I don't even like to walk around and I'm trying to like get everyone to know what I do. No, I want you to know what the businesses do. And if you're a customer, you buy from that business. Like for me, I want you to know that, I am consistent, I am fun, I am all of these adjectives that I want to see put out there myself. But the businesses come and go, but you don't. You know what I'm saying?
Defo. That's really good. That's really, really helpful. Yeah, I feel like it comes back to that, like, the like entrepreneurial bird's eye view mindset of like having the bigger picture, and like because it comes with being a scatterbrain creative. But that's given me a lot.
What's the journey been like going from another city to making it in a new city? Like, tell us a bit about the city you're from.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I was born.
Bang your doors, man.
I'll bang my doors. I was born in London. Full disclosure, like I was born like not far from here, Hoxton.
Jeez.
And like, like we have like, my granddad came here in the 60s. We've got a lot of family history in Hackney, actually, like and like Brixton. So like, and I still have a lot of like extended family in like London and stuff. So it's not like this mad foreign country. Like I was coming down here to go like christenings and stuff like every single weekend and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's but obviously like I don't consider myself to be from London. We moved when I was a baby. But so obviously like I was in school rapping, blah blah blah. I went to uni.
Where are you from, man?
I'm from Liverpool. I'm from South Liverpool, to be exact. Like Liverpool's a like.
What's the block? What block are you from?
What the block? Well, I'm from an area. Like it's the thing about Liverpool is. Think about it. Like the whole city is really a London borough. So like, people kind of like. That's why I say like I just say South Liverpool, because people. I don't know. It's like we have areas and stuff, but a lot. It's not like it kind of operates a bit differently. Like I'm from like Eggborough, if people want to know, but like people more just like kind of rep like there. You know what I mean? There's a bit of a north-south divide in the city, but like it's I just say South Liverpool. No matter what ends you're from in South Liverpool, I love you. Like just South Liverpool.
But you love Liverpool though, innit? You love Liverpool too.
I love I love the whole city. But I obviously just wanted to move to London because Liverpool's a small city, especially in the creative scene. It's crazy incestuous. Everybody knows everyone. You can feel like you kind of like completed it in like not that long. And like obviously, the big smoke, see your name in the lights. There's amazing different creatives and different kinds of people. Like Liverpool's not the most diverse city. And also like all the opportunities in London, like this whole accelerator program like this in Liverpool, like for like if the kids want to do something, like so many opportunities that you just straight up don't know exists. Like being not from London, that I think that that's the main reason I wanted to come down. And it's kind of why I think I might like stay here like long term, because I don't know, if you think about like your kids and stuff, like it's just that the opportunities and being able to see like all kinds of people from all different walks of life, be able to see like, successful black people, successful people from all different kinds of life in London. I think just the effect that has on you is so underrated. And like, I love Liverpool. I love my city to death and I'll always rap it. But I do love London and I really love being here. And the creative energy for me in London is like electric.
Yeah, we love that. We love that. Alex, your studio is being built. You're moving to a new studio. You've been in another studio.
Yeah.
It's been a journey. I heard you this week in the Accelerator give a really awesome breakdown of how you see the mix of dance and performance.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, that's my vibe, immersive vibe. Like I used to go to a sober rave called Morning Gloryville.
Yeah.
They used to have spots here in Oval in East London, and people would pull up, and you know there'll be trumpets, there'll be people dancing in like really interesting outfits, live DJ, really revolutionary, and it became a movement. I feel like what you're building, if sounds and it feels like a movement from everything that you've been showing so far. Walk us through like how the business actually moves, or like just take us through like the actual product and offering that you have and the community that you're building before we get into the business.
Yeah, so it started off as live events. I like to say like Boiler Room, and also like some like iron products, and probably like a variety of venereal diseases. We were born in a Hackney Wick warehouse. Yeah. No one sit. Yeah, and so we threw a bunch of events in that kind of like rave type atmosphere. And then there's a venue in London that I'll rep called Arch One that's run by a guy called Robert Clark, who've been supporting me since I was like, you know, small. To anyone who's not watching the podcast, I made a small hand gesture there. And so we've done more like intimate stuff there as well. It's this beautiful like railway arch venue. Awesome, like black owned business. Like when there was nothing in Canning Town, he was like, there's got to be something in Canning Town. Like put his music on the side to create a space for other artists, like consistently supportive. Like not, you won't hear about it like in the big rundown of London venues, but like all the like London jazz scene, like Moses Boyd, New Bayer Garcia, all came, Shabaka Hutchings, all came through this venue. And yeah, amazing place. And so we did then some more like tailored, smaller stuff where we really tried to hone that, like you just pointed to, this like mix of live and dance. So we had like really intimate like acoustic piano performances, and then like weird, intense, like dark techno, and tried to have it be like one experience rather than like, okay, here's this portion of the event, now there's a break, and now there's a DJ. Like have it all be like one interwoven thing. And yeah, and then we started hiring our studios through Fold, shout out Fold, in the summer. And yeah, that's really something that's become quite exciting and something we're building a lot at the moment in our business plan. Inviting more artists into the studio, recording some more stuff. I guess I'm the like head producer of the label of the studio. But getting more people involved and building just some really like interesting, intricate, beautifully well done like music and putting that out there into the world. There's a few models for like that, like PC music are obviously like very uniquely conceptualized. But I just really like how successful they've been. Like they've gone from like their bedrooms to like ending up like creating the sound of pop music now, and like working with Lady Gaga and people like that. And then like Speedy Wonderground are a label that kind of launched bands like Black Midi, Black Country New Road, a lot of this like post-punk stuff. And yeah, they've just done it through like quality and like just creating really, really great music and putting it out there. And so like that's the goal. Like I you know, the whole thing is trying to shine a light on people. And like I've been very fortunate to meet some incredible musicians, and they want to be involved in projects and stuff. So yeah, moving forward, like whatever I can do and our business can do to like not just in terms of like live energies, but in terms of recorded music as well, help nurture and grow just like really incredible, beautiful stuff that already exists, and funnel that out to people more. That's sort of where we're at with it all.
I love that. And what would you say are some of your biggest challenges right now? I know studio's been a big thing, just from coaching and spending time with you this month. But what are your current challenges? Like, let's unpack it. Let's see what Seb thinks and how we can help.
Yeah, in terms of live events, getting people out, especially as it's getting colder. Like we were all just discussing earlier, like, oh, we're gonna go out tonight, or oh, do you want to come? Oh, well, it's cold, and like it's hard to get people out to stuff. Especially like if the stuff you're doing isn't like crazy central as well. So yeah, getting people out has been a roadblock. And then, I think every small business's issue, financing. Can we swear? I'm not going to swear financing stuff. You can fill in what word that was going to be. Just financing stuff and like keeping like breaking even and keeping everything going. What I find quite inspiring about the two of you particularly is like how much you opened yourselves up to different routes of generating capital early and got really good at it. It seems like ways that maybe weren't in any way taught you at school, or like ways that you kind of found your roots into yourselves. That's been quite inspiring, learning from you and seeing, and so ways we could generate some funds through other methods than we've currently been doing. Like we're talking about sponsorships or investors or anything like that is definitely like something we're considering as a solution. I think those are because the quality's there. Like that's not me, that's the people that are around me. My role is to just try and gather them in one place and give them the best clothes for the weather, if you will. Like the quality's beyond there. Like we all know that. So that's not an issue. The issue is just like having the resources and the funds to leg up the quality, and just getting people there who will love it when they see it, but to actually get them to come and participate. The quality's like, if you don't think the quality's there, like anywhere, like, but especially in London, then you're just not looking in the right places.
I love that. And 2023, what's it about for you? Like, can we help you with some marketing ideas? Can we help you with like even just like, like from what's the actual thing we can unpack? So it sounds like footfall at venues is one thing.
Yeah.
How's artist development going? How's brand development going? Let's talk tactics for your brand.
Yeah, I feel like brand development, like I feel like will come with, like, I don't want to do it arbitrarily, so I'd rather build the stuff that the brand is built around rather than the other way around. So once we have, like, say a steady stream of some EPs that we've produced from some artists we really rep, and and then that like not only for us as a label but for us as a thriving, like, living recording studio. So this is what our producers, what our space is capable of doing. Once we have that and it's out there, then I feel like we can build the brand more through both the product, quote unquote, and then whatever impact that it hopefully may have on, like, audiences. But I want to build the product before I sell the product too much. And I think, especially being, like, around everyone the past few weeks and feeling really inspired, like, I know what it is I want to do. So it's just about making that actually happen. And then once those things are in place, like I mentioned, EPs, and I think that's the main thing, having some really solid quality recordings that we can hold up as for our artists, for our studio, for us as a label, for us as a whole thing. And then we can kind of push that. So yeah, I think for me, like finding some investment or sponsorship or would be a really like smart next step in not having to like worry, are we going to afford rent on the studio this month, or like have we booked enough mix master jobs to break even, you know? If so, yeah, I mean it comes down to money basically. Yeah.
So what you kind of described there actually is something that a business model in the tech world that we call product-led growth.
Yeah.
Which is build the products, and if the product is really good, the right customers will kind of come to you because they need that kind of product, right?
What's that film, Field of Dreams? Build it and they will come.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But guess what? They won't.
No.
No. That's I feel like build it and they will come doesn't work in real life all the time. It works sometimes and things like that, but I think we always think like, let's wait till we like perfect the product or the product's in a good place. Even with the podcast, we're like, let's wait until we have this figured out, and like, no, our production's not there yet. But we weren't afraid to just release early versions of our product. And I would say this to everyone, like, don't be afraid to just go out there and test the market and see if you can start driving sales.
Yeah.
There's product-led growth and then there's sales-led growth. It's the two. Hey, do I push for people and go out there and bring people to me, or do I build something and let people come to me? So obviously you want to build and stuff like that. I think you should have a balanced approach where you're definitely building your product, but I think you should definitely start doing some sales, man. Like, start going out to people. Like, how much would you pay for? Like, do you already have customers that are coming? Do you already have your pricing set for studio?
What kinds of clients? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
Are you thinking of like selling to potential recording artists? Or
So that's a question for you, isn't it? Right? You're building a studio. Who's gonna come and use it? Is it gonna be podcasters? Is it gonna be recording artists, execs? Is it gonna be independent artists, record labels? So you kind of need to figure out your different types of customers that you're gonna have, and all of that takes like customer research, and actually going out there and like surveying people and asking them like, yo, how much would you pay for this service in this kind of location? And like, I'm not saying go and just do that, but like the earlier you do that, the easier your life becomes later on once the product is there. And like, you don't have to start from the beginning on the sales side of things, isn't it? So I would say balance the sales and we call it business development. I don't know if you already have lists of people that you want to start like working with. I'm a big fan of lists. List sounds boring, but like I'm telling you right now, lists, like whenever someone asks me, where do I start? I always say start with a list. Yeah. List down. You can do your top tier like who is like your dream clients to have that as your tier 1 list, tier 2 below that. That's in terms of like who you want to target. But really and truly, like if you don't have a CRM right now, which means customer relationship management, you want a contact book basically, and you want a spreadsheet or an online database where kind of like with your platform where people can go onto your Google form, they can submit their contact details, and you kind of have a database of people. These are going to be your early customers, customers, users, same kind of thing, isn't it? So obviously, first of all, start with like having a list. Do you have like a list of people? How big is that list? Do you need the list to get bigger, or do you need people to pay more, or what do you think?
That's what the things I made it like of 100 people in the like music and creative world that I thought would be ideal. Good. But I haven't updated that in a while. So it'd be good to add all of the new contacts that I've made kind of since lockdown lifted. But my question would be like, I think it's quite clear to think of like as a recording studio, who your clients would be. Like if you're just opening up to, we charge this much for a single, this much for a EP, you know, that's very clear and obvious. Like
Is that how the
that's
pricing is
broke
going to
down.
be? Like, how
Yeah,
you break it down to me as if
yeah.
I was
All right,
a
well,
customer.
yeah,
I don't know. I've never.
No, we're quite open, like not selective in terms of like who we will just like let use the space and benefit from the space, you know. So there's a certain price for just a single recording, for a day, if you just want to record vocals, if you want to have like me or one of us as a producer, or you bring in your own producer in, there's different price lists for different. But and I think it's quite clear to think, well, the clientele there is just musicians and labels who want to hire some studio space. Even you were talking like your like artist development thing, like, some studios you'd be interested in getting in, to studios. Like there's all sorts of people that need to use studios and want to use studios that aren't just, we booked Pirate for the day. It's like, we booked an actually really good, interesting recording studio that had some cool equipment and some cool creative producers there who added their own spin to it and helped us create something interesting, more than just we hired a space with a Neumann and which we do have, but like anyway,
but that's your value. That's your value add, right?
Yeah, exactly. But that's quite clear to me. As a label, though, like it's more arguably more interesting to me, like that aspect of it. So it's like we will work with anyone who wants to work with us as a studio. But as a label, it's like, well, we're only going to work with the people that we want to work with. So there'll be like there are like things in the process that I've been working on with certain artists that are involved with us that I'm really excited about. And it's like, well, who do I sell that to? Where is that sort of going? Like, I guess part of the customer base is listeners, like people who are, in the olden days, a record company was selling to people who would buy records, but that's like fairly few and far between now.
You might be selling to other record companies as well, other bigger investors who might invest in these artists as well. So that could.
Well, that's my question.
Yeah.
What other avenues can you? So, if we fast forward 6 months and we look at us as Styleground and say we've got like 3 EPs from like 3 really, really solid, really strong, like upcoming musicians that we rep, that was recorded by us in our studios, all done, all packaged, all ready to go, like good enough to get like really high like reviews on Pitchfork, whatever the benchmark is, like really great stuff. Who other than streaming and that kind of thing, who do you think we should be putting that in front of and selling to?
Okay, cool. So I think obviously there's like a bit of a wider debate around, I think especially musicians, and I'm hearing a lot of the time it's like the music is the entry point, but that's not where the full monetization happens, isn't it? There's personality-based things like vlogs, content, and from that comes partnerships with brands and that kind of thing. You have merch. I see artists starting podcasts and things like this now. So it's like thinking, how can you broaden them out as artists to increase their revenue streams, which will obviously be beneficial for you? Do you two work together? And it's like you already have a platform where it's like you can start building merch and this and that. But it's like thinking, like, how am I actually going to help these artists monetize?
Yeah,
that's the key thing. Streams. I personally think merch is a very underutilized thing. I've been a big fan of merch, and I'm saying everyone should be doing merch. If you're a brand, you should be doing merch as early as kind of possible.
So you're like Shopify now. It's really
useful. So if I was you, what I would be doing for each one of your artists, and this could also be like a service, and this could be something that you as an entrepreneur could be building your brand around as well as an exec, right? Where it's like, cool, we bring the artists in, we've developed an EP with them, it sounds amazing. Have you built the artists their own website? Do they have a landing page? It could be a Shopify page, but do they have their own centralized sort of asset for themselves as well? Are you tracking the traffic on those kind of websites? Have you built an e-commerce shop into it? Like, I think for me, when I look at artists, I always say, have a landing page or have a centralized page. That's not Instagram, that's not Spotify, because that's like, you don't own those platforms. But building them platforms that they can own and have access to in terms of like data and things like this. So you can see like, cool, loads of people are buying merch from this kind of artist, or they've had like a really big hit record. We can see the numbers on Spotify, but we can also see the clicks onto the website. And I think adding all of these little data points around the kind of artists makes them way more packageable and sort of marketable. You kind of know what I mean in terms of, you know, do you want to keep hold of them? Do you want to pass them on to like another label? Do you want to, and like other labels and other sort of bigger industry players might be looking at you and thinking, cool.
Because I don't think, at least for the moment, we're not aiming at all to be like landing exclusive deals with any of our artists. In fact, like what would be great is if we could help our artists get better deals with like bigger places, or even eschew deals completely and just go the like Chance the Rapper route or whatever and just be independent and just get publishing deals and whatever. Like we would just, at the moment we're just doing like, we will do a single with you, we will help you launch an EP, and beyond that you're not like bound to us or like anything like that. So yeah, absolutely, we'd be wanting to like help our like artists get the stuff that they've done with us in front of other people, and even just like getting away, as I say, getting away from that like label mentality like entirely, and just thinking about, well, how can we grow our music and our fan base and the critical like response to us, rather than looking at it from that more like traditional like labels owning artists. So yeah,
partnerships as well, because I think you could definitely, and this is something for all of you as well, like brands are out there, as you've seen like with Skepta and what's the alcohol brand, Havana Club,
Bacardi,
is it? Cool. They do like mad partnerships basically.
Havana Club and Bacardi does both.
And Bacardi as well. Like they do mad partnerships, and it's like, oh, this is an alcohol brand. Like, but long story, there's like loads of brands out there that want to tie themselves to young creatives and creators who are seen as like doing things in the kind of scene. So maybe you can start pitching these proposals and project ideas that, hey, do you want to sponsor a film or a series where you follow us as we develop an EP for this artist? And we can release it together as a joint project. We can host an event at the end of it. And like the world of content, like people want to see behind the scenes as well. I think nowadays, especially with artists, they want to know like what is it like? I watched Heady One's vlog recently actually. And I was watching that, I was like, wow, I love his music. But I've always loved him as well as a personality. And you tend to, nowadays, I think for me, I tend to love artists for their music, but their personality. Like for me, Heady One was like a meme. I just love the way he speaks. Like, he was a meme before. I just love the way he speaks. And I'm like, does he do this on purpose? Does he not do it on purpose? Is he aware that he's doing it? And like seeing the vlog and seeing like behind the scenes of his, like, I think it was like 36 hours in the life of Heady One going to Paris, and that, I was like mind blown. I was like, yo, Heady One is living a life that I couldn't even believe it. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I said, that's mad. So I think it's like thinking about how, I think a good idea is to think about how you can kind of leverage content and opportunities for like brand partnerships and sponsorships to connect with these kind of artists, and then how you package that up and present that to kind of fans, innit?
Are you like calling these
lists,
partners?
Lists, baby. You got a
list.
list. Okay,
List.
I'll give you that. So you got a list. Boom. Have a list of all of the brands that you want. Go on to LinkedIn. Remember I told you guys to all create LinkedIn. Go on to LinkedIn. Find the managers of these brands, or the right position, job position. Is it like a partnership? It's probably going to be like a partnership manager, right? So what I tend to do is I'll have the brand name on a spreadsheet. I'll have the person, their email, their LinkedIn, and not spam, but I at least, whenever I'm trying to cold email people, I'll set up a messaging sequence of 5 emails. people ain't going to respond to your first email. They're not going to respond to your second one. The third one, they might open. By the fourth one, they're going to be like, yo, this guy's like trying really hard. Let me at least like give him a response. So I usually have like a 5-step email sequence. No, seriously, I'm like, if they haven't responded by the second email, I'm going to send them this email saying, hey, I don't mean to sound like annoying. I know you've been looking at my emails but not responding. But someone even sent me an email saying, hey, this is like my third and final email. I'm just going to write a poem. In the next one, next one he sent me literally like a poem. And I was like, it's kind of creative. I'm not going to lie. Like, you put in a lot of effort in. No, it was just like a random, I was like, damn. But it captured my attention. I'm not going to lie. It did capture my attention. But it's all about lists, having that list and like getting in contact with these people via email and LinkedIn. And also, if you connect with them on LinkedIn and you're putting out some of your content and you're building your own personal brand as an exec on LinkedIn, they're way more likely to notice you and want to like connect with you and kind of get closer with you. So yeah, that's what I would say. But definitely list building, cold emailing, that's the number one place to start.
And there we have it, guys. That was a fire session. We were able to talk to the entrepreneurs I've been coaching at the Roundhouse on the Self-Made Accelerator. It's been a journey. It's been a joy. In the next couple of weeks, they're going to be pitching on December 1st. Well, that's actually coming up next week, actually. So I wish you guys all the best. We will be checking in with you guys and your businesses again. Thank you guys for coming in. Blocks to bags. As you guys know, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you found this useful, please share. If you'd like to come to a future episode, get in touch with us via our social media. Thank you guys. Boom.